Hey guys, this is John here in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. Today we have God Country number 6. It's not bad. You know, the problem with this book is this is a movement, not a revolution. Beginning, middle, and an end. The characters in this story do not continue, they do not grow. I was going to wait until all that was done. I thought it was done. We're just going to power through. So there's nothing wrong with a comic book that doesn't have a character that won't continue. I get it. I get it. So in this one, Emmett Quinlan is now at this God's dying world, which is just getting sucked into a black hole. This monster is described more as like a wild boar, but that's just not what the artist drew. He drew a flying fish. And here is Aristus, the son of the dying god, back in Texas, talking with Roy and Janie about their dad Emmett, who is now fighting in that other world, and he can't go home without the sword. So he's stuck in Texas. There's nothing he can do. And over here, Roy is comforting his daughter, telling her everything's going to be okay. And I think Janie objects to that. At any rate, back in the home world, the mountain boars that look like flying fish are attacking Atom. His name sounds a lot like Adam. And he is also fighting Emmett Quinlan for possession of the sword Valifax, which is a sentient sword forged from a crushed world. So it's a whole bunch of minds crushed into one. It is a god in and of itself. Adam wants it back. The sword does not want to go back. Essentially, that's the problem. Emmett has some opinions of his own. I'm going to have to wait until this is done. So, back here in Texas, Aristus notices that his father's power is weakening and that he can almost go home again. Meanwhile, Atom is expending all his energy to fight Valifax and Emmett Quinlan, who is Roy's father, Dina's grandfather. And he's really beaten him pretty bad, but Valifax is protecting him, keeping him alive. And let's see, what develops here? They have a bit of a back and forth. Emmett Quinlan knows he's on his last legs, but he really leaves the decision up to Valifax. So here, Atom and Emmett Quinlan are having an argument about the value of this sword to Adam at all, because his world is dying. But also Emmett Quinlan is dying. He has Alzheimer's. He can't exist without the sword. They're basically the same situation. The sword itself does not want to go back to Atom, as I remember this, as a possession. But Atom's not letting go. He's not going to let Emmett Quinlan return. He's demanding the sword be returned to him, and so it is. And he's not able to catch it. Or he catches... Actually, what ends up happening is the sword chooses not to kill Adam, and it returns to Emmett Quinlan. But the world is dying. They're both dying. There's nothing you can do about it. Back on Earth, his son Aristus, this is just a family drama with like gods and monsters. So his son takes Roy back to his homeland to fetch his father. And so Aristus can deal with what's going on back there. Life in the big city. Adam, meanwhile, has not been able to maintain his fight with Emmett Quinlan. The attacks from the monsters, the black hole, it's threatening his kingdom, and his kingdom is dying. And so is Roy's father, still holding Valifax, and he finally does let it go and pass away. So that's really kind of what this story is about. And when he does, you have this moment where his entire life sort of passes by. Like, you know, it's a life well lived, sort of reminiscent moment. This is like an after school special movie with special effects. That's what this is. This is good art, though. I have to give it up for Jeff Shaw. The art is great. And Roy now has the sword. And meanwhile, Aristus and Adam have their own drama going on. Roy returns home with the sword. Did I show you that last page? Did I skip that? No. I showed you this. You guys aren't missing anything by me not reading the words. Believe me. The art is amazing. This was a good series. But I don't know, man. With comics, I just see it as, you know, like if you're going to do it, it should be a passion project. All my favorite comics are comics that are kind of still going on, even though they had a beginning, middle, and an end. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Tick, The Crow, all those characters are bigger than their opening stories. And I think that's what comics demands. I guess there's room for smaller stories like this. It's just not, I don't know. Limited goals, limited expectations, limited outcomes. I don't remember, something like that. But this was a limited series from the beginning. This is like Thor the End or something like that. I don't know what this was supposed to be. I can't say it was bad, but I don't feel like I wasted the money. But I suppose it's been more of a what not to do than a what to do, which is, I feel bad saying that. A lot of manga comes off that way. Manga does not come across the way American superhero comics do. American superhero comics have a longevity to them. I've been thinking about this. And this is why the speculator market exists with American comics. I made some comment on YouTube or on Twitter about it's because Jews own the American speculator market or the American comics market, and they don't run the Japanese manga market. And there is some truth to that. But there's also some truth to the fact that these original character creations were timeless, endearing characters who adhered to timeless traditional values. Things have changed since then, and it's very hard to make a timeless character in a timely era, if you will, because the characters don't have values that are consistent from month to month, let alone year to year. Because the writers don't have values that are consistent month to month, let alone year to year. In that case, yeah, it's impossible to make something that's lasting, you know? Part of the reason Transformers works so well is you have basically angels fighting with each other over the destiny of mankind. That's pretty much what this Transformers franchise is about. G.I. Joe, less so. G.I. Joe is less timely, less green, less evergreen, because they're only fighting Cobra, some terrorist group. G.I. Joe may have been executed better over the course of its history, but that doesn't change the original concept. So anyhow, this is the Yggdrasil tarot deck. It's really nicely done. I believe that's Odin on the cover. Today's card is Tyr, Courage, Wisdom, Courage, Conflict, and justice. I think it's understandable that that one's hard to read. Look at how small it is. Here's the back. I like these cards. I like to color them. There's something I want to talk to you guys about today. So I've been a part of a Telegram group for a couple weeks now, an English Telegram group, a crypto group that picks coins for the week to invest in and then drops them and then picks a new coin every week. I've been watching them for 2 weeks and they're doing about 100% growth. So I don't mean like doubling your money, I mean like 10 timesing it. Maybe that's not 100%. 1 times 1, I mean like 1 times 10 or 100. They're getting like 12, 12. It wouldn't be 12% returns. I'm retarded at math. Look, I've been watching this guy, Gary Stevenson, I think is his name, who's a genius at maths. And I say maths because I've been watching him and he's English. We don't say that. But I'm a sucker for language. I absorb language just like a sponge. So stories are really, I did another chapter last night. I think last night's chapter was probably my weakest chapter. But even though I'm bad at maths, I can recognize an investment of $1,000 paying 90 grand as a good thing. 95, yeah, $95,000. Not 9,500, 95,000. That blows my mind. If I were to make 10 grand on a $100 deposit, now with a coin that's .0000006 and they bring it up to .0004 minus a couple zeros, right? When a whole bunch of people invest in something that's super cheap, that's like penny stocks, right? So I don't know if it's real or not. I'm going to find out this time next week. And then a couple weeks after, we'll see. I get paid every couple weeks. So in the space of 2 paychecks with a $100 deposit, starting with a $100 deposit, theoretically, I could make enough money to pay off all my debt. And I have a substantial amount of debt and still have some left over. So when you're looking at something like that, this other group that I invested in $200 a couple weeks ago is losing money. They were up like 5 grand and now they're down to like 4, just under 4, like 3,900. And I only invested $200 with that account. So that's small potatoes compared to this other stuff. And this other stuff, they're not doing it for me, you know? It's not like, and I was involved in a couple other groups where you perform tasks, 3 sets of 40 investment tasks where you're basically loaning money you're basically laundering money in your crypto grouping transactions so that they can't be traced. So they can't be as easily traced. And that's, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. At this point, there are no borders anymore. So when you're doing financial trading globally, what does it matter? I only get hit with taxes when I take it out of my wallet into my bank account. And as long as I don't do that at more than $10,000 a day, that doesn't set off any red flags. Even I know that just from watching television. So it's going to be an interesting couple weeks for me. I will let you guys know. If you want to know the name of this group, I'm not going to post it in the description, but send me a message. I'm on Twitter. I'm here on YouTube. My email address is here. Leave a comment in whatever. Say, hey, send me that Telegram group. I will. I'm not going to hide it from you guys. I'm really thinking about I come from a really not impoverished background. My family was poor, but the kids around me weren't. And my family's all doing really well. None of them really need cash. A few of them maybe do. But I'm already thinking about how do I, not about spending it, but how do I give this to everyone I know without the whole world finding out and just wrecking the economy? Essentially, that's what I would do. I would give everyone endless amounts of money. And if you give everyone endless amounts of money, we're all the same again. And so what do? Do I keep this to myself? I can't do that. Some of my brothers and sisters are really struggling. Some of my friends are really struggling. So I'll be setting up a tablet, with with a PDF on it and a paper printed document with all the accounts and passwords. I will set everything up for them and start the accounts for them, and then just walk up and hand it to them and say, you're welcome for everything you did for me for all my life, for being my friend when I was a piece of shit all these years. Everyone's a piece of shit somehow. No one's perfect. If you think you are, you're the problem in the world. If I solve my money problems, how do I solve all my other problems that money won't solve? And ultimately, what do I spend on developing the video games? I'm not going to spend money on my art, but I am going to spend money on video games and animation. Bet your ass I am. And it's going to be so much fun. And I don't think I'll quit my job. They need me. Maybe I'll find someone else to do it for me, and then quit somehow. But, they need me. Like that little guy in Conan. So, I don't know. I hope you guys are having a good summer. I hope everything's going well for you. If you're not into crypto, I made a bunch of money between 2015 and 2017. And when Bitcoin peaked and I needed a lot of money, I spent it. And I didn't look back. And I haven't. I've been getting into it again lately. I've lost about $1,000 in the past few months. But I've been paying attention. And I can't say it's lost. It's just locked up. I can't reach it. It's been more than a few months. It's been since April. No, May. I don't know. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's just money. I remember the first time I got ripped off for $100 when I was 18 in the Marine Corps. Some guy told me this sob story about how he'd rented a trailer. He was moving between here and there, and he'd run out of gas, and his family, and blah, 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 blah. And he was some black crack addict living in Oceanside, ripping kids off for $100, because that's all we could get out of the ATM those days. Whatever. People suck. So, what do? If I give my brothers and sisters a bunch of money and they quit their jobs and this goes belly up and then we're all destitute, then I'm an asshole, Oh, you did this to me, it's always you, right? Besides, the next 2 weeks, my life could go. I would not be surprised to see my life completely fall apart before I can make these investments. Because that's been the story of my life since I was a little kid. You know what I mean? I'm always just almost there. Whatever. I sincerely kind of don't care anymore. At this point, I'm just kind of watching. It's kind of just, it's almost like, what I hear Norm Macdonald talk about how he lost everything gambling to complete broke 3 times. And everyone's like, oh, shit, I live there. Are you fucking kidding me? Man, 3 times. I live there. So, I don't know. Yeah, you can't, if I make a bunch of money, I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to learning how to ollie and kick flip properly. Not that that matters, but I will because I'll be able to afford medical insurance. That would be nice. Health insurance. So people have gotten really fucked up just trying to kick, flip, and ollie. But yeah, I'll buy more Chris Cole boards. I saw he's doing all right. Yeah. All right. See you guys tomorrow.